Throughout Earth's history, there have been 5 mass extinction events, each of which has removed a minimum of 70% of the species across planet Earth. And according to the research provided by the Alliance of World Scientists, along with 15,000 other signatories across the globe, the current background extinction rate is up by 100 times its normal amount. What this means is that we are in the midst of a 6th mass extinction event. You will be forgiven for not noticing this, however, as it is caused by you and me. Our need and desire for entertainment, resources, and space has caused the loss of habitat, food, and water for millions of species across the planet. And so, it is very important that we understand the nuances of delisting a species, that is, removing it from the endangered species list. To better understand this large and complicated topic, I will be using the history of wolf conservation in Yellowstone National Park, a recent endeavor by the U.S. government to preserve its native lands. I'll be discussing the territory of the gray wolf. I'll be using the projected results of introducing it, along with the actual results of introducing it. I will also be discussing how the research provided by this endeavor will benefit the delisting of other species across the planet. To start off with, I will be discussing the history of wolf conservation in Yellowstone National Park, specifically the introduction of Canis lupus occidentalis, that is, the Canadian wolf, into the territory of Yellowstone National Park, that is, to renew the species of Canis lupus erymotus, here to be referred to as the Yellowstone wolf. The gray wolf, as it is more commonly known, had a territory spanning from the tips of Alaska and Greenland all the way down to the northern reaches of Mexico. This massive territory has shrunk considerably, losing the entirety of the lower 48 states, except for the Pacific Northwest being the southernmost point, Yellowstone National Park itself. These numbers, ranging from populations of easily in the thousands just in National Yellowstone, down to 20, are direct results of the killings of wolves to protect human interest. These specific numbers are provided by Adolf Murie, the first man to extensively research wolves in their natural habitat. Thankfully, though, there were the Yellowstone Wolf Project, a portion of the Yellowstone Forever Foundation, founded and current CEO Lisa Diekman, has put forth lots of effort into maintaining that park. Her findings and what has been going on there have helped to restore the wolf population, bringing it from a measly 20 estimated wolves all the way up to the current over 680 wolves in that area. But they accomplished this by using the main process of slow introduction, which is when they take the Canadian wolf, and put it into a holding pen within Yellowstone. There they were allowed to explore and introduce themselves to the area with the native fauna and learn new hunting strategies. When it was deemed they were sufficient to do so, they were allowed to enter into the ranges of Yellowstone itself and mingle with the Yellowstone wolves there. Because of this, as I said, they have drastically increased in size. This information has been provided to us by the U.S. Department of the Interior, as well as the U.S. Department of Fish and Wildlife, hereafter referred to as USDI and USDFW, respectively. However, it was not so simple as take some packs and put them in. There was a lot to consider when doing this. After all, introducing a top predator into any area has disastrous consequences even in the best of times. As such, it was the responsibility of the USDFW to create an environmental impact statement. What this did is it gave an estimate of the effects of introducing wolves and reintroducing wolves into the area. This knowledge brought us the projected results of 12 elks per wolf per year being killed in order to sustain themselves. Modern research and actual results provided by Douglas W. Smith, the senior wildlife biologist of Yellowstone National Park, employed by Lisa Diekman in the Yellowstone Forever Association, has shown for us, however, that the actual results are much different. They have resulted in 22 elks per wolf per year being killed. This is not too much of a surprise, however, as the Canadian wolves would predominantly hunt the elk in their mountain range versus the smaller animals more endemic to the Yellowstone National Park. This difference, however, is a very important part of taxonomy and behavioral differences. By analyzing these, we can better understand whether our efforts were successful in reintroducing the wolf. By analyzing their behaviors, territory, and feeding habits, we're able to understand whether it was a good idea, or better, whether we actually reintroduce and rescue the species. This also is provided to us by the USDFW in their species profile, which can be easily looked up online. I encourage you. By analyzing this difference and between the Canadian Yellowstone wolves, as well as the after effects of reintroduction, it was deemed that the Yellowstone wolf and Canadian wolves were simply geographic variants of each other, and as such, were successful in removing from the endangered species list. Now, when making an environmental impact statement, or EIS, it is important to know that there are several factors that go involved. Not only habitat, human interactions, prey and predator, all sorts of things are necessary to consider when doing so, including the taxonomy of the wolf, as I mentioned earlier. By understanding these, it can help to know whether it is a good idea to introduce the things. And as such, we must also figure out a way to monitor the wolves, or whatever species it is. For our Yellowstone wolves, we decided to go with GPS collars as well as VHF collars. GPS collars connect with satellites across the world to give specific, accurate details, while VHF lasts longer and use radio waves, so you must go out in the field and collect. What these do is allow us to decide whether it was, again, the correct or proper way of introduction and whether the project was successful. In Yellowstone's case, it was in fact doing so. Now, all this information gives us the understanding that the methods used, although not perfect, were so far the best provided. And by replicating what we've done here in Yellowstone to help us with the Yellowstone and other species, whether it's the rhinos of Africa or the tigers of India, all the way down to a simple songbird. By understanding the nuances of delisting species, we can better protect our planet. Now, in the time that I have given this speech, one species has already gone extinct. If you watch it again, another species will have gone extinct. This is due to our inability to take care of the planet. And so, by understanding these nuances and how we can better prepare ourselves and our planet, we can protect it. And so, I encourage you to read for yourself and learn some more. After all, I cannot tell you everything. Research yourself. Ah, so close!